wrestling show that's not just for wrestling fans. This is Smark Friends on wrestling.ca. My name is Zach and I'll be your host. As you can see, if you're joining us over on YouTube, that I'm leaning into the chaos, so to speak. I am tired of my cat's ticket jumping up halfway through my introduction and knocking over things. So I've set him up a little spot here up on my desk, so he's here from the get-go and hopefully less likely to knock over my equipment. I'm not happy about it, but he's happy about it, and that's something, and that counts. Joining me today, she is a singer-songwriter, she's a rapper, she's a musician, she's a poet, she is so many things, and you might have guessed she's also a professional wrestler. Emerging wrestling star from the UK scene, Shawty, is joining me on the show. Shawty is a former CPW, Coventry Pro Wrestling women's champion. We talked to her all about wrestling, we talked to her about what inspired her to start pursuing wrestling, and we also talk about some of those amazing fields that she's a part of in the music scene. We're going to get to all that, but first we got to thank the good people who keep the lights on here at Love Wrestling. Support for Love Wrestling is brought to you by MANSCAPED, who is the best in below the men's waist grooming champions of the world. MANSCAPED just launched their newest product, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, 4.0. And we have a special offer for you here at Love Wrestling. You head over to manscaped.com and enter our promo code Love Wrestling. You're going to get free worldwide shipping wherever you are. You're going to get 20% off your order. It doesn't have to be the Lawnmower 4.0, but I certainly recommend that product. It could be any of their fine products, including the Ball Reviver, or, just check out the catalog. They've got a really impressive stuff. Anyway, 20% off your order, manscaped.com, promo code Love Wrestling, free shipping. I think I mentioned that. Head on over. Your balls will thank you. We are back with Shawty right after this message.
With another strike just like that, and again, and again, and again, and again. Curious position here. What are we looking at? Oh! It's over now. When I fall down, just leave me facing. It's all good now. Feeling comfort in my space, nobody to disgrace. I'm safe and sound. The surfboard. Oh my God! It's so far down. Hearts on the ground. Frustrated. But why my ears burn safe? Learning that what I hear is not really what they mean. That's bad. Oh!
And we are back. Joining me today, rapper, songwriter, singer, pro wrestler, former CPW women's champion, and so much more. Joining me from Coventry in the UK, Shawty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. It's great to speak to someone. Remote recording, it's kind of like a mixed blessing, but like I am so happy I get to record with pro wrestlers all around the world. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's amazing to just be able to connect with all these people around the world just over the internet.
Awesome. Absolutely. So it's around 6 p.m. there versus where I am, where it's 1 p.m. Is this usually when you get productive, when you're doing media appearances and such?
Yeah, I typically go for more evening. I'm not really a morning person, so anytime in the evening is great for me.
Right on. Yeah, I'm the same way. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about wrestling. From what I understand, you started training in 2019 with Coventry Pro Wrestling. What encouraged you to pursue?
So I've always loved wrestling, like as a kid and whatever. And I remember watching like the Total Divas TV shows and stuff like that, and being like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. And I was like 12 years old, and I even Googled like wrestling promotions near me or where can I wrestle, and there was nothing around me at the time. Uh, and then randomly out of nowhere, I just become aware of CPW, and I thought, oh, I'll go along to a few shows. And I went along, I loved it. I ended up then going to every show that they put on regularly, and they were running a training program called the Superstars Project, and encouraged me to join. So I did, and the rest is history.
Once CPW caught your attention and like was in your radar, were you able to like attend like other promotions like in the UK a little more frequently?
I actually haven't been to any of the promotions. It was kind of just as soon as it was within a few months, I started going to watch CPW, and then I started training, and it was just a roller coaster from there. So yeah, CPW ride or die.
Who's responsible for training out there?
So I'm trained by Will Starr and Nathan Lewis.
Okay, very cool. Cycling back to Total Divas for a second, I read this on your profile, and I hope I pronounced this website correctly, but gerwek.net. A heavy inspiration of yours is Nikki Bella, from what I understand. What was it that drew you to Nikki?
I just really liked her as a person, like watching the show, and especially like when she was champion and how much support she gave to other women, and she's very like women empowerment and all of that stuff. And I just loved her vibe, and yeah, women empowerment all the way.
Right on, right on. Same interview, you also referenced The Fiend, the work that Bray Wyatt was doing at the time of the interview. Is that someone you kind of draw heavy influence from, or any kind of influence from, I should say?
Not necessarily influence, but I loved everything about that character and his entrance, and just chills. And yeah, I think when he made his debut as the Fiend, it was just incredible. Yeah, I really enjoyed watching him.
I was not watching SummerSlam, but like I went and I sought that clip because like everyone was just raving about that Fiend's first entrance, and like yeah, it stands on its own. Like I got goosebumps first time watching it. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, before we talk about like more wrestling and of course your pursuits in rap and music, I understand you also do graphic design. I started following your Instagram page exclusively for your art last night. So I also imagine like on top of doing your own music and doing graphic design, you must be like very hands-on with your own brand.
Absolutely. I design everything that I do. So obviously like the black and yellow colors. And then I make my own entrance music. I made my own logo. I make my own merch designs. I design my own website, all of that stuff. I like to be very hands-on and just do it all myself. Yeah.
It's interesting to see because I imagine a lot of the wrestlers on the independent level are very hands-on as well, but I also see a lot of them who are hiring graphic designers, like they're outsourcing that work to like merch. So like it must be very empowering to like hold that brand in your hands as well.
It's really cool, and it's really nice that I get to obviously just have my own creative influence on everything that I do. Yeah, it's cool.
Right on, right on. When it comes to music, I'm wondering what came first: your love of pursuing music or pursuing pro wrestling.
So I've been making music since I was 13, so like 16 years. So
wow.
That came before the wrestling. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you get started in that field?
So as I said, I was around 13. I used to be really into poetry, and when I was in school, I used to win all the poetry competitions. And I had all my friends, like, 'cause I had a lot of male friends, and like cousins and stuff, and they were all like into rapping and stuff like that, and there was no females doing it. And then I was kind of like, well, if I can write poetry, it can't be that hard to write music, right? So I started writing rap bars. I was really chavvy back then. I was doing like 13, like writing really rubbish music. But I then went along to a sort of like youth group, like after school group, and they had a music studio there, and it was just all about like recording music and things like that. And I was still 13, 14 at the time, and I went along to that, and I was the only girl. And from that, the guy that ran that youth group actually had like a small music label. So after going along to there a few times, he asked me to join the music label, and then I had access to a studio and ended up doing like performances and gigs and things like that. So yeah, it just kind of went from there.
Very cool. Do you still have like any of your tracks from when you were recording at a young age?
Yeah, I do. I have pretty much most of them that I did. I like to go back and reminisce sometimes, and also look at my own cringe. But they're nowhere on the internet, thank God. Anyway.
No, totally fair. But it's cool that you have it, just like to watch your own progress evolve. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, music and wrestling, like they're two demanding fields. How are and like this isn't even talking about graphic design and any other spinning plates you might have, but like how do you balance those two worlds?
Both of them give me like a creative outlet for very different reasons. But I find it's pretty easy to schedule. Like obviously the wrestling training and shows are like in the evening, and like however they're set days a week, whereas I can kind of pick when I go to the studio or pick when I write music, so I can kind of just work that around when I feel like it, so it's not that hard.
Okay. Now, is like Shawty the musician and Shawty the wrestler, is there any kind of difference between these two? I don't want to say personas, but for lack of a better term, I'm going to say so.
No, not really. I was like, I've had the nickname Shawty since I was a kid, really. So that kind of then was my music stage name. And then I was like, well, I already had sort of the brand and the logo and the colors and stuff. So then when I started wrestling, it was kind of easy to just put the two worlds together. So yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about the song Black and Yellow. Really catchy track. I really enjoy that one. But cycling to specifically on the lyric, did you get the memo? It's become a bit of a mantra for you. I've seen it on your merch. It shows up in your social media presence quite often. I'm just wondering if there's any kind of significance to that particular lyric.
I think because I'd like obviously the whole black and yellow branding and things like that, and when I was writing the song trying to think of what words rhyme with yellow, and I didn't want to be like Jello or mellow and stuff like that. And then it just sort of fell together like for the song, and I was like, okay, I really like that, and I'm just gonna run with it, like, and it works great. Like anytime I post something, I'm like, hey, did you get the memo? It just sort of fell into place, and now it's just a thing that I'm running with.
Yeah, it's kind of like developing a life of its own, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. So it was kind of accidental, but the best things usually are.
In that whole spirit of like catchphrases and mantras and whatnot, what are some of your favorite catchphrases in the world of professional wrestling?
Ooh, I always hate these ones because they're so hard to choose.
You know what? Whenever someone asks me that, I feel like, you know what, my answer is going to change day to day.
Yeah, I always think that as well. Like, it depends what mood I'm in or what I remember or think of in that moment, like you ask. And I'm like, what should we go with today? I always think The Rock's "Can You Smell the Rock is Cooking" was always iconic. So I'm going to roll with that today.
Oh, it's solid. It's amazing how he got, like, if you think of that sentence structure, it's kind of amazing. Well, that just speaks to The Rock's charisma to get that sentence so insanely popular. It's crazy.
I know, and that's one of the main things I love is that it's the most random sentences that just stick with people. And the fans just roll with that, and then you just end up rolling with it. And yeah, it's just iconic.
Yeah, I mean, like that's true. Like it's always the stuff that just connects in a very strange way, and letting that just take on the life of its own. Like I think of Rusev Day as well, which was just a ridiculous premise, and like Rusev Miro, he got it so insanely over. It's incredible stuff.
I know. Yeah, it's so entertaining. Though. I love it.
Do you have any new music in the works?
Yeah, I'm currently working on a solo album. So I'm hoping that will be done this year. But it's obviously going to take a bit of time, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And I'm also trying to venture out into all different like genres, so more into the singing and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully this year. A lot of stuff in the works.
Pardon me. So solo, does that like entail like laying down the beat, laying down any instruments, and anything in that that entails production of an album?
I usually will like find and buy my instrumentals online,
Okay.
or there's usually like a couple of different producers that I like, and I'll go for their sound. But no, just like a lot of my songs were in the past have been like features. So I've like featured on somebody else's songs. So Black and Yellow was actually like my first proper solo single that I released. And obviously this album will just mainly be me and my music, and I'll maybe feature a couple of other people on my stuff rather than me featuring on theirs.
Very cool. That's exciting. And so we're hoping it comes out this year.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm hoping so.
Absolutely. Very cool. Shawty, thank you so much for your time talking to me on the Smark and Friends podcast here on Love Wrestling today. Before I let you go, please let the audience know where to follow you on social media and where we can keep an eye on your projects.
On everything at Shawty UK.
Marvelous. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Additional support of Love Wrestling is brought to you by RK Athletics. If you are in the Edmonton area, you want to reach out to Rich King at rkathletics.ca. He's going to help you start chasing your fitness goals, whatever they may be. Let him know. He's going to help you achieve them. Now, you don't have to necessarily be from Edmonton, because at rkathletics.ca, they still got a wealth of online resources and online packages for you to check out. Please check it out. Not just on the website, you can also reach out at RK Athletics 1 on both Instagram and Twitter. Start chasing your dreams with RK Athletics. That was my conversation with Shawty, talking about music, talking about rap, talking about wrestling, and all of those amazing projects that she is a part of. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please head over to ratethispodcast.com/ratethispodcast.com/lovewrestlingca, because you're not just reviewing Smark and Friends, you're also reviewing the amazing content being created here at Love Wrestling and being created very proudly. That includes Spencer Love interviews, it includes Friend and Foe with Cody Defoe, it includes upcoming projects like Cheap Pop with Lawrence Cartier, and as well as all of our review shows, including Power Out, including NXT, Weekend Elite Report, all these stuff that we are so proud of here at Love Wrestling. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow the show at Smark and Friends on Twitter. My personal account on Twitter is SmarkMouth, and on Instagram, smark.mouth, and you can follow Love Wrestling CA on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok. Thanks so much for catching my conversation with Shawty. We're going to be back next week. Till then, friends. You got something to say? No, you're good?